Harry and Meghan, the dreariest couple in the history of planet Earth.
Let's chat about Meghan Markle. She couldn't be more cringe if she tried.
Now, a staggering 2/3 of Brits are calling for Harry and Meghan to be stripped of their HRH titles.
Prince William plans to flex his muscles and wipe his wayward brother Prince Harry and his power-hungry wife Meghan from the history books.
Prince William is reportedly formulating a plan to finally strip Prince Harry and Meghan Markle of their HRH titles.
Well, Her Royal Highness Meghan Markle, Duchess of Sussex, is about to be stripped of her official title.
It's hardly a secret that the palace has already conducted secret meetings with members of the government to discuss putting the plan into action.
Are you joking?
It's bad.
It's terrible.
I would love reconciliation with my family. I don't know how much longer my father has. He won't speak to me because of this security stuff. But it would be nice to reconcile. If they don't want that, that's entirely up to them.
She's slaughtered this weekend because there were some business cards in the back of one of her podcasts. She's still using her royal title, HRH, despite our late Queen warning her against.
Are you joking?
It's bad.
It's terrible.
It's stupid.
Prince William, he's reportedly furious after it emerged that Meghan Markle is still using her HRH title, despite agreeing to drop the title when the Sussexes left royal duties.
Meghan Markle has been very brazen recently with the use of the HRH.
The American actress who became a duchess, who tried to destroy the royal family, which then booted them out of England.
With King Charles on his way out, Prince William is expected to take over the crown. And apparently at the top of his list is to say, peace out, Meghan, you're done. And he plans to formally strip Meghan Markle of her royal title.
It's not a financial thing. Working royals do not profit. They do not use their names to make money. It's an honour to have an HRH.
Absolutely.
So the fact that she's continued to use this HRH when they've been instructed not to, I think is absolutely infuriating in Buckingham Palace.
This is a lady who's very popular for being awful.
But I just can't stand her. I just think she's such a phony.
Harry's digging an even bigger hole for himself here.
Well, I think he's dug so deep now, he'll strike water any day now.
Like, guys, you don't got to do this. Please, I'm begging you to stop.
You just can't keep faking it.
We immediately went into the trenches together.
Yeah. But she said she was in the trenches. She alludes to being in the trenches when she was in the British royal family. Girl, you lived in a castle. Like, you got a princess title. People were falling at your feet. People would run your bathwater for you. I mean, I could list the perks. I could list them forever. The trenches, she has got to, the Delulu is on another level. Sometimes I envy it.
I've never seen this sort of, I've never seen someone that struggles to just give us like one strip of authenticity.
It was agreed with Queen Elizabeth that they will not use the HRH title. That is a long-standing precedent, and there's good reason for it. Basically, the HRH is only given to working royals and senior members of the royal family.
The hypocrisy is beyond anything I've ever seen.
He's a duplicitous, self-centered, vile, disloyal hypocrite.
Brat, to be honest, and very, very entitled.
Harry and Meghan, they have an issue when it comes to their memory and when it comes to the truth.
Take me out back and shoot me, okay? Just end my agony now.
She is relentless, she is shameless, and she is exhausting. You are not a successful female entrepreneur.
When the stakes are this high, doesn't it make more sense to hear our story from us?
Oh, shut up. What do you mean the stakes are this high? Who do you think you are? Other than a latte-munching imbecile living in luxury in California while the rest of the world's a cost of living crisis, moaning and whining about an institution which gave you the titles on which you now trade millions of dollars. What are you talking about? What stakes?
You're in America now, and we don't give a shit about you. You're not our fucking prince. You'll never be king. We hate your wife. Stay at home in your $29 million mansion, all right?
Oh my God, I can't even. These two, Meghan and Harry, are the worst.
Nobody saw it coming, but Westminster has just lit the fuse. And Prince Harry's royal title is right at the epicenter of the explosion. For years, the so-called runaway prince has graced red carpets, Netflix stages, and explosive televised revelations, all while clinging to a dukedom that was inherited, not earned. But tonight, behind venerable oak doors older than America itself, the House of Lords unleashed a bombshell. 5 quiet words that reverberate throughout the monarchy. A motion to strip the title.
Now, when Meghan Markle and Prince Harry decided to leave the royal family, they agreed with Queen Elizabeth that they would not use their official title, His Royal Highness or Her Royal Highness, in any commercial capacity. And despite that, Meghan has now readopted Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. But not only that, she's also started to use Her Royal Highness, Duchess of Sussex.
In case you weren't aware, some of the crown's sharpest instruments aren't found on battlefields or in stirring speeches. They lie dormant in age-old law books. One such tool, the Titles Deprivation Act of 1917, was crafted in wartime and used to rescind royal honors from any noble fraternizing with the enemy. Back then, if you were related to someone donning a German uniform, you were finished. No discussion. Fast forward a century, and the battlefield looks new. Today's enemy might sport a California hoodie while signing 9-figure Netflix deals. Prince Harry may view British history as just another Netflix category, but Parliament treats every chapter as if it were unfolding in real time. Recall Westminster in 1917, Zeppelins overhead, suspicions brewing in pubs, and a resolute king, George V, removing royal titles with a mere flick of the pen. That law was relentless and unyielding, and tonight that same spirit is alive. One lord, clutching the century-old statute, was overheard murmuring, "Once a sword, always a sword." In other words, the crown never forgets. And while Harry might not be a wartime traitor, public sentiment insists he's overstepped a very clear boundary.
Now, the king can end this feud, not by shaking hands with this treacherous little weasel, but by stripping him and his wife of the royal titles that they love to use for commercial gain without doing any of the work.
Trading royal confidences for Hollywood applause doesn't require espionage on behalf of the Kaiser. Under British law, you don't have to commit treason to forfeit your dukedom. Simply humiliate the crown on a global stage, and critics claim Harry has done just that, turning palace life into primetime entertainment.
But of course, the real measure of success of both of them will be the same as it always has been. How much damage can they inflict on our royal family, on our monarchy? I said it before, I'll say it again tonight. King Charles should strip them of all their remaining titles and cast them out from any connection to the royal family. How could any of them trust them, as far as I could throw them? Because without it, they're just whining millennial windbags with a permanent victim complex, knowing that victimhood is what makes them all the money.
This isn't mere theatrics. It's bureaucratic action with serious consequences. Prominent conservative Lord Hemsworth has teamed up with cross-party Baroness Rothley to unveil what insiders are calling the Dignity of the Crown Act. The proposal is straightforward. Clause 1 prohibits any noble from leveraging their title for international politics or personal gain. Clause 2? Violate that rule, and your title is suspended immediately, pending the king's decision.
Being that Meghan and Harry are not official members of the royal family anymore because they stepped down, they're not allowed to use their HRH title.
Meghan has said through a representative today that she is not using the HRH title. We have literal, tangible proof.
Now, Meghan, just last week, she did her first long-form sit-down podcast interview. She showed a basket that she had sent to the host of the podcast as a thank you for allowing her to come on. And here you can kind of zoom in here and it says, with the compliments of Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Sussex.
Yeah, she's gaslighting. She's lying. Absolutely. And this is just another one of those examples of Harry and Meghan disrespecting the Queen. I know she is no longer here, but that does not mean that the rules don't apply to you any longer.
Copies of the proposal are already circulating through Parliament like restricted documents, each stamped with deep royal red and designated confidential. One clerk speaking under such stringent secrecy it rivals MI5's best efforts stated plainly, "This isn't for show. The forms are secured in the vault. At this pace, Harry might legally be rechristened Mr. Henry Mountbatten Windsor by Christmas." And although British politics typically moves at a snail's pace, the gears are turning rapidly this time. Within the storied halls of Westminster, phrases like actual malice, smear campaign, and bombshell evidence echo off the walls. Yet when you switch over to breakfast television, all you see is a lighthearted story about royal corgus. Coincidence? Or a calculated distraction? That's up to you. Meanwhile, pollsters have been dialing up every postcode from Land's End to John O'Groats, and the verdict is in. 62% of Britons support stripping the Sussex title, a classic fish and chips majority clearly in favor.
A new poll by Find Out Now has revealed that most of the public is supporting the king in this family feud, ongoing family feud, after Harry's bombshell BBC interview. It follows the Court of Appeal's decision to not overturn the ruling on his security in the UK.
Support for the motion isn't merely widespread, it's bipartisan. Among Conservative voters, approval is at 71%, while Labour backers come in at 68%. Even residents in Sussex, the traditional seat of Harry's title, have cast their votes of disapproval. One local candidly remarked on camera, "He's just some guy trading family secrets for ratings. He doesn't represent us, he represents Netflix." As the tabloids blare explosive headlines at dawn, by lunchtime, those same stories vanish behind segments on baking shows and reality TV fluff. Seasoned Fleet Street editor didn't mince words. The higher-ups are pulling the plugs due to too much ad money at stake. If that isn't media suppression, it sure carries that scent. Audiences are catching on, increasingly relying on independent outlets for unfiltered truth. And just when you think it cannot get any more surreal, recall when royals were celebrated. For opening hospitals and cutting ribbons, Harry now fires off Netflix contracts and launches million-dollar projects. His $100 million docuseries portrayed the palace as a den of vipers, while casting himself as the outspoken insider.
Now that the once carefree, fun-loving prince has turned into a miserable moaner, lashing out from the depths of his paranoia at a world he thinks is conspiring against him.
After Spotify's podcast Misfire, one thing was clear. Even royal drama has its limits when it comes to capturing attention. Then came Spare, Harry's memoir that didn't just stir the pot but flung it across the room. Nearly every Windsor faced criticism, except, humorously, the corgis. Camilla was depicted as menacing, William as prone to physicality, and Charles as the emotionally stifled heir apparent. Meanwhile, Meghan has mastered her role with calculated finesse. Portrayed on screen as the queen of narrative control, her public tears and polished appearances under golden filters, subtly reminding American viewers that Buckingham Palace is not merely antiquated, but oppressively so.
When the stakes are this high, doesn't it make more sense to hear our story from us?
Oh, shut up. What do you mean the stakes are this high? Who do you think you are? Other than a latte-munching imbecile living in luxury in California while the rest of the world's a cost of living crisis, moaning and whining about an institution which gave you the titles on which you now trade millions of dollars. What are you talking about? What stakes?
What stakes, you ask? Critics argue Meghan has weaponized her Duchess title to undermine the very monarchy that bestowed it upon her, while supporters frame it as an exercise in free speech. Yet in the House of Lords, it's seen as sufficient grounds for stripping the title entirely. In the midst of the Netflix boardroom, however, all this chaos is pure gold. The Sussexes have become a scandal factory, and controversy sells like hotcakes. One Hollywood agent, speaking on condition of anonymity, remarked, "They're essentially the royal Kardashians. Imagine Kris Jenner sporting a tiara. Brutal, yes, but incredibly profitable. For now, at least. Still, profit isn't everlasting." Parliament is banking on the public growing weary of the ongoing theatrics. While Harry livestreams his discontent for all to see, King Charles III remains silent, employing an old Windsor tactic. Behind closed doors, palace insiders reveal that the king already has draft letters patent prepared, a sort of royal delete button, to nullify the Sussex title should Parliament hesitate. It's reminiscent of a Prince Andrew maneuver, only in overdrive. And what of Prince William? Sources suggest he's had enough. Rumor has it he declared to his team that unless the brand retains its dignity, it means nothing at all. Translation: it's time to sever ties. The courtiers, who typically tread carefully around every royal nuance, have stopped correcting reporters who now refer to Harry merely as Mr. Mountbatten Windsor. This isn't just a snub. It's the royal equivalent of being kicked out of the family group chat. Harsh? Yes, but undoubtedly effective. Now imagine the fallout. Headlines screaming about Netflix desperately renegotiating deals, sponsors pulling back, and bankers panicking over a brand stripped of its prestigious title. One entertainment lawyer revealed projections suggesting that losing the dukedom could slash their brand value by 60% overnight. The Arkawell Foundation might scrape by, but donors drawn to royal allure could vanish as quickly as a wave crashing. And Meghan? Rumors emerging from Hollywood indicate she might be preparing for a solo career. Talk shows, lifestyle brands, and possibly even a foray into politics. But stripped of the Duchess label, does the magic still remain? One studio exec doubted. If she's simply Meghan Markle, she's up against every influencer with a ring light. Cold? Yes, but likely true. And Harry's prospects seem bleaker still. Without the title, he's left as a one-hit memoirist fading from the limelight. Publishers thrive on controversy, until it no longer sells. Spare two? Spare the heir? Without the HRH, none of it strikes the same chord. Mark your calendars. The petition will face its first debate in just 2 weeks, with Commons readings possibly beginning by early summer. And here's the twist. MPs are pushing to review what's known as the Netflix lobby memo. Insiders claim it reveals covert pressure to quash the bill. Should that document go public, it could ignite a media inferno. Names of executives, PR, firms, and even an A-list director allegedly acting as a back-channel envoy might surface. This isn't merely drama. It's a royal Watergate. Will mainstream channels cover it extensively? Doubtful. With Sussex still raking in ratings, networks may prefer to turn a blind eye. That's where we come in, cutting through the spin with the precision of a Lord's quill. So, buckle up, subscribe, and ring the bell as if tolling Big Ben at midnight. What's on the horizon might not just dismantle a 1,000-year-old title. It could shatter a media empire built on fairy tales. Harry's royal identity hangs by a thread, and Westminster is poised to sever it.